The story begins in 1945, just as World War II is nearing its end. We see a Japanese fighter plane being flown by a pilot named Koichi. Suddenly, the plane develops a malfunction, forcing Koichi to land on an island that houses a repair base where damaged planes are fixed. There, Koichi meets a mechanic named Tachibana and asks him to repair the plane. After inspecting it, Tachibana realizes that there's nothing wrong with the aircraft. He quickly understands that Koichi faked the issue to avoid flying his final mission, which was likely a suicide mission. Confronting him, Tachibana says he knows Koichi made up the malfunction to escape his orders. Koichi, feeling ashamed, walks away and sits by the seashore. A fellow mechanic joins him and quietly supports his decision, saying he probably would have died on that mission. Later, Koichi notices dead fish floating in the sea, which he finds strange, but ignores. Night falls, and Koichi returns to the base, just as an emergency siren goes off. Everyone panics, fearing an enemy attack. But when they scan the waters with searchlights, they spot a massive creature approaching from the sea, Godzilla. Terrified, the crew scrambles to hide. Tachibana urges Koichi to fight back and take off in his plane, but when Godzilla appears, Koichi freezes in fear and can't fire. Tachibana and the others begin shooting at Godzilla, but it only enrages the beast. Godzilla goes on a rampage, killing and eating several people, then destroying the entire base. Still in his plane, paralyzed by fear, Koichi watches as Godzilla approaches. He quickly jumps out before the creature grabs the aircraft and tosses it away, causing a massive explosion. Koichi loses consciousness. The next morning, Koichi awakens to find nearly everyone dead, except for Tachibana, who miraculously survived, and is gathering the bodies. Angry and grief-stricken, Tachibana blames Koichi, saying their comrades could have been saved if he had acted. Koichi is overwhelmed with guilt. The war eventually ends, and soldiers begin returning home. Koichi returns to find his house in ruins and his town devastated. A neighbor named Sumiko recognizes him and accuses him of hiding during the war. She sadly informs him that his parents, along with her children, died in a bombing. Heartbroken, Koichi is consumed by sorrow. One day at the market, Koichi witnesses police chasing a young woman accused of stealing blankets. She has a small child with her. As they run, she hands the child to Koichi and escapes. Koichi starts to walk away with the baby when the woman returns. He asks for her name, and she tells him it's Noriko. Noriko follows Koichi home and asks to stay the night. She explains that she's not the child's mother. Her mother died in a blast and entrusted her to Noriko before passing. Being an orphan herself, Noriko felt it was her responsibility to raise the baby. Koichi, unsure, tells her to leave after dinner, but Noriko falls asleep while talking. The next day, Sumiko asks Koichi about Noriko and the child. After hearing their story, she begins helping Noriko care for the baby. She even gives Koichi a bag of rice so the baby can be properly fed. A year passes. One day, Koichi tells Noriko he got a government job defusing underwater mines left behind by enemies. A dangerous task, but one that pays well. Noriko is worried, but Koichi says it's their only means of survival. Koichi soon discovers that the government provided only poor equipment, despite promising otherwise. On the job, he meets Dr. Kenji, a former Navy scientist now leading the mission. Fellow war survivors Captain Seiji and Shiro are also on the team. Out at sea, they spot a mine. Seiji attempts to shoot it, but misses. Koichi takes over and successfully detonates it, earning everyone's praise. That night, Koichi dreams of Godzilla killing all the mechanics again. He wakes up in a panic, thinking he might have died that night and everything since has been a dream. He rushes to Noriko, who is startled and pushes him away. Koichi explains his trauma, losing his parents and comrades, and Noriko comforts him. Meanwhile, the U.S. conducts a nuclear test in the ocean. Unbeknownst to them, Godzilla is nearby, and the nuclear blast mutates him further, making him more powerful than ever. Time passes, and Koichi earns enough money to buy a bike and repair his house. One evening, Kenji, Seiji, and Shiro come over for dinner. They assume Noriko is Koichi's wife, but she clarifies that she's not, and the child isn't theirs. Just then, the child calls Koichi father, prompting the others to suggest he marry Noriko and start a family. Koichi declines. Later, Noriko lands a job herself. She tells Koichi that she wants to stand on her own and that he should feel free to marry someone else and start a happy family. She assures him that Sumiko will care for the child, so there's nothing to worry about. Soon, news spreads. Due to the nuclear test, Godzilla has grown even more powerful and is now heading toward Japan, expected to arrive in just 1 week. The next day, Koichi and his team go out to sea and come across a destroyed American ship. Koichi spots dead fish in the water again and realizes Godzilla must be nearby and responsible for the wreck. Panicked, the team considers retreating, but at that moment, Godzilla emerges from the water and heads toward them. Koichi and Kenji throw underwater mines at him, hoping to destroy him, but the bombs have no effect. Koichi then begins firing a machine gun, but even bullets can't stop Godzilla. But it wasn't having any effect, so Kenji drops another bomb into the water. However, the wire to trigger that bomb breaks. Because of this, Koichi tries to shoot the bomb to make it explode. During this, the bomb ends up near Godzilla's mouth and explodes from Koichi's shot. As a result, one of Godzilla's eyes and a large part of his mouth gets destroyed. But within moments, Godzilla's wounds heal, and he, enraged, comes out of the water and starts attacking the boat. At the same time, the Japanese army arrives and begins firing at Godzilla indiscriminately, which makes him even angrier. He then attacks the army ship, but the army does not stop firing. After getting hit by so many bullets, Godzilla is severely injured and goes back into the sea. Then suddenly he comes out again and destroys the army ship in an instant. After that, Godzilla roars and starts heading toward Tokyo City, where Noriko had just started a new job. Sometime later, we see Koichi in a hospital. After getting treated, he returns home. Noriko is very upset to see his condition and questions him. Why is he always so disturbed, and why doesn't he share anything with her? Does he not consider her anything? Koichi then shows her pictures of the mechanics who died and says, "They all died because of me. If I had killed Godzilla that day, I could have saved them." Hearing this, Noriko consoles him, saying it's not his fault. After all, he is only human, and it's natural to be scared. The next day, Godzilla reaches near Tokyo, and the army. Ships begin attacking him, but it has no effect. Meanwhile, Koichi is at home and hears on the radio that Godzilla is heading toward Tokyo. He becomes worried for Noriko. Godzilla reaches Tokyo and begins destroying everything. In the chaos, he sees a train and starts tearing it apart. Noriko happens to be in that same train and jumps into the water to save herself. Godzilla continues destroying everything in his path. Meanwhile, some news reporters are standing on a rooftop taking photos of Godzilla. Godzilla approaches and destroys that building as well, killing all the reporters. Koichi arrives in Tokyo and finds Noriko, taking her with him. The army shows up again and begins attacking with tanks, but it has no effect. Suddenly, glowing wings start to emerge from Godzilla's back, and nuclear lights begin to shoot out from his mouth. This results in a nuclear blast in the city, destroying a large portion of it. In the chaos, Godzilla shoots a nuclear wave towards Noriko. To save Koichi, Noriko pushes him away and is herself caught in the wave, dying instantly. Koichi falls to his knees, devastated by her death. Godzilla then leaves. Later, the news reports that 30,000 people died in Godzilla's attack and 20,000 buildings were destroyed. Everyone is mourning Noriko's death. During this time, Kenji tells Koichi that the government has chosen people like them to kill Godzilla. Koichi and his companions attend a meeting called by an army captain, where all the people selected by the government are present. The captain tells them that no one is going to help them. They will have to kill Godzilla on their own. Kenji shares his plan. They have to lure Godzilla over the deepest part of the sea and tie gas cylinders to different parts of his body, so he can't rise and will be dragged into the ocean's depths, about 1,500 meters, where he might die. Koichi asks if this plan will really work, and Kenji says he can't guarantee it, but he has another plan. In his second plan, Kenji explains that once the cylinders pull Godzilla deep underwater, large balloons will be released from the cylinders, causing Godzilla to shoot up suddenly. The pressure difference will disorient him, and that's when they will bomb him to kill him. Many people don't like this plan and leave, but most decide to stay and help because they want to save their country. Later, Koichi and his 3 companions sit at a bar where Kenji tells them they'll lure Godzilla into their trap using a recording of his own roar, which will draw him into Tokyo. Then Koichi says he needs a fighter plane to attack Godzilla from above and divert his attention. Kenji tells him he has a fighter plane, but it needs a mechanic to repair it. Hearing this, Koichi thinks of Tachibana and decides to find him. Since he doesn't have Tachibana's address, he starts sending letters to every possible address, hoping one will reach him. One day, Koichi is suddenly attacked and knocked unconscious. When he wakes up, he sees Tachibana in front of him. It turns out Tachibana was the one who attacked him and brought him to his house. Tachibana is angry after reading the letters, because Koichi had written in them that Tachibana was responsible for the deaths of those on the island. Koichi had intentionally written such things to make Tachibana angry and come find him. Koichi then explains the plan to kill Godzilla and says he wants to correct his mistake and save everyone in the country. Hearing this, Tachibana agrees to help him. After that, everyone begins preparing for the mission to kill Godzilla. Kenji tells everyone to spend one last night with their families, as this mission could cost them their lives. Here, Kenji and Seiji tell Shiro not to come on the mission because Shiro gets injured, but he insists on joining the mission. Meanwhile, Tachibana is busy repairing the plane. At home, Koichi is with his daughter, who gives him a painting she made of him, and Noriko. After giving it, the little girl starts crying and tells Koichi she misses Noriko. Hearing this, Koichi becomes emotional. He puts his daughter to sleep, leaves a letter next to her, and leaves the house. The next morning, the girl gives the letter to Sumiko. Inside, she finds some money and a message asking her to take care of the child. Sumiko understands that Koichi has gone on a mission from which he might not return alive. Tachibana tells Koichi that he has fixed the plane and replaced some of its parts. He has also installed all the weapons. To motivate Koichi, Tachibana reminds him how Godzilla killed their mechanic friends and Noriko, so they must kill Godzilla and avenge them. The next day, the team sets out on their mission. They drop a device into the water to lure Godzilla, whose sound brings the monster into the city. Godzilla throws a ship, and Koichi arrives with his plane. Kenji tells everyone to proceed according to the plan. Koichi starts attacking Godzilla to distract him. Enraged, Godzilla chases the plane and reaches the exact trap location Kenji had set up. Godzilla sees 2 unmanned ships and attacks them with his nuclear breath, causing explosions that injure him as well. Meanwhile, Kenji and his team begin attaching gas cylinders to Godzilla's body using cables. Koichi keeps shooting Godzilla to keep him distracted. Just as Godzilla is about to unleash his nuclear blast again, the cylinders pull him underwater. But that doesn't kill him. So, Kenji inflates balloons to bring Godzilla back up rapidly, hoping the pressure will harm him. But Godzilla bursts the balloons. Kenji and his team try to pull him up with ship cranes. One crane falls, but then Shiro arrives with reinforcements and helps pull Godzilla up again. Now, Godzilla emerges badly injured and begins charging up his nuclear light, turning his body blue. At this exact moment, Koichi crashes his plane directly into Godzilla's mouth, causing a massive explosion, killing Godzilla. Everyone is heartbroken, assuming Koichi has also died in the blast. Just then, they look up to see Koichi descending safely with a parachute. It turns out Tachibana had installed an ejectable seat with a parachute, urging Koichi to survive. Everyone salutes Koichi. When he reaches the shore, Sumiko gives him a letter. After reading it, Koichi rushes to the hospital, where he finds Noriko still alive. Overwhelmed, he lays his head in her lap and cries with joy. Meanwhile, in the ocean depths, we see a piece of Godzilla's flesh regenerating, implying that Godzilla isn't truly dead. And with that, the movie ends.